good. All right, we're live. We're live. About to be live where we're not yet live. We're going to have a show today.
Global.
A global
live.
show. People watching from all over the
China.
world. China. Huge audience in China, I think.
Oh, it's time for the propaganda report.
Yeah, there was I don't check that. Yeah, right. Everybody they put their noodles aside.
Everyone got
Put the
around.
noodle
It's
down.
time for propaganda report.
Yeah, right. They're very huge fans of us over there. I know because every time I post something on X, all those hot Asian sex bots that look exactly alike and have no followers immediately like it.
We know someone who married a hot Asian sex bot from Vietnam.
We actually do. They broke up with, I think, probably their first girlfriend ever, or she broke up with him, and she was very crazy.
Yeah.
And then he went and got him a,
Went to Vietnam, got himself a little
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese bride.
and he sacrificed his dream of
Hey,
improv to go to some country where he can't speak a word of the language, but probably live very cheaply though.
oh yeah.
We'll give him that. All right. What's the show about today? Russia Day in the media, basically, is what we're going to be talking about. Because that's what it's felt like to me anyway. And after Tulsi Gabbard yesterday was sworn in as director of the National Intelligence Agency, effectively giving full control of our intel agencies over to Putin, to the Kremlin. Today you have RFK Jr., who is confirmed by the Senate, effectively giving control of our immune system and health over to the Kremlin. It's really been a dangerous day for democracy in
Constitutional
America.
crisis. It's a constitutional crisis.
Based on what they're saying, Putin we just witnessed Putin capture our entire government.
Just like that, man. Just like that.
And there's nothing we can do about it.
No, he's gonna make us be healthy against our wills.
Yeah, he's going to force carrots and broccoli and exercise on us. He's going to rape it onto us.
Everybody's got to learn Sambo.
I don't even know what that means. Martial
Sambo
arts?
it's like a Russian judo.
Oh, wow.
He's a Sambo black belt.
I love all those pictures of him doing the fighting stuff, the PR. I wish Trump would do some of those too, where Trump is doing like MMA.
I know.
That'd be pretty funny. But let me find. Today's show is going to be a little not as organized because I'm not as prepared as I typically am. But we are going to go through some of the news together. Hopefully better than yesterday gambling-wise.
We'll improvise, Brad.
Yeah, we'll improvise. That's what we're good at. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Putin is giving Bibi a run for his money. Yeah, apparently so. It is kind of crazy. They don't say much about Benjamin Netanyahu, who seems to. It's almost like he knows he has this protected status, so he can just kind of embrace the supervillain archetype, not even try and act like he. Because when you see him, he's like smirking and laughing, and Trump's putting on at least trying to put on an authentic face when talking about those issues. Bibi's just like he might as well be bloodlusting with his presentation. He doesn't seem to care.
We will not be giving back Gaza.
And his voice, too,
Mr.
is
President.
so weird. We will be killing you all, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
The push my chair and thing everybody was talking about. So what I love about the RFK thing and the Tulsi thing is the hero of the left. And even though they got confirmed, there's still one person who is a Republican that they might disagree with, but who has the spine and the strength to stand up to Donald Trump, who ironically can't stand up at all right now because he's 82 years old and he fell down a flight of stairs in the Senate chambers just a week ago. Mitch McConnell, who was the lone Republican opposition vote and the hero, like they hated him not long ago.
Yeah, but
they talked about how he froze up all the time not long ago, but today.
Now he's the new Liz Cheney.
Absolutely, he's a new Liz Cheney. They've forgotten all about his freezing incidents, which they used to cover. They don't make a mention of the fact that he is currently in a wheelchair because he fell down a flight of stairs, and they act like he's completely healthy and he's making any of the decisions he's making, even though when you see him, let me show you. He was the lone vote against RFK Jr. Here he is. Here is the strongest Republican and the only one who can stand up to Trump. The only one with the moral courage, as they put it. Here he is leaving, not that one, sorry, after his vote today, being pushed out in a wheelchair. Mitch McConnell, the moral face of the Republican Party, according to the media, right here.
Any comment on Tulsi Gabbard?
No comment on Tulsi Gabbard because he doesn't know where he is. That's dementia. That's not somebody laughing. Some people portray that as him being evil and laughing. This is dementia face, is what this is.
Yeah, this is what we have to stop because this is obviously the shadow government propping you up. We have to stop this.
He's making none of these votes. He doesn't know there's a vote going on.
This is all fake.
Totally.
He is a proxy person. He's not even a person. He's just a proxy.
It's just like Dianne Feinstein before she like literally died while sitting. I mean, she was was she a congresswoman or senator? I can't remember which one it was.
She was a senator, Senator Feinstein.
From California, and she was in her 90s, and she was still casting votes right up until her death at a period of time, casting votes on behalf of her constituents, whom she was making decisions for in these votes, at a period of time while she did not have the legal right of attorney over her own decisions. I mean, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It makes you wonder, if you hear that theory floated around, people can't sign contracts when they have dementia. So, if you prove that Biden had dementia, what happens to everything he signed during his presidency?
That was his clear moments.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly right. And maybe you're right, Stoner. You think he just doesn't give an F? Or are you talking about Mitch? You think Mitch is there? Maybe don't give it. Maybe. I don't know. I just, the media was when it was beneficial to them. It's how they work. They covered him freezing up. They covered all the other stuff, but they don't make any mention of it today, and they praise his efforts. And it's funny because you see these headlines on CNN, you see these videos. Because I was trying to find an image of Mitch McConnell. Because my question was he actually there? Because he just fell down a flight of stairs. He's 82 years old. I mean, that's the kind of thing that will break a hip and will lead someone that age to the hospital, and they might never come out of the hospital. Very dangerous thing. So I wanted to know.
It's extremely dangerous. Yeah.
And I kept seeing these headlines. Mitch McConnell explains why he was the lone Republican vote against RFK Jr. or against Tulsi. And all of the headlines of the videos and articles make it seem like, the videos, you're going to click on a video and they're going to say, we're going to welcome our guest here, the only Republican who is in this fight for democracy against authoritarianism, Mitch McConnell, and he's going to come on and be a guest. That is what the headlines conveyed. He was not a guest on any of these shows. It was a reporter or a spokesperson telling us what they said that Mitch said, which Mitch couldn't even say here in this video. Nobody's actually heard Mitch say the words that the entire media is saying that he said about why he voted against RFK Jr. Nobody's seen it.
No, they just parade him around. He's got this goofy smile on his face.
They parade him.
Like he's just had a cookie.
Dude, totally. Like he just ate. Like he ate a cookie. He got a few minutes out.
Delicious over there. Get me over that buffet.
Now he's going back to the assisted living community where STDs are running rampant. You know.
Yeah.
Get some banana pudding.
Get some banana pudding. And there's some Nilla wafers.
His double. So Stoner says his double is the one that fell. Is there a conspiracy theory that there's? I mean, all these guys could have doubles, but I don't know that I've heard the Mitch McConnell.
I haven't heard that. Yeah.
Double. It would be really funny if they had these doubles that were really frail and actually like dementia patients, but the actual politicians are just super transhumanist and in great shape. I mean, it wouldn't be funny. That would be dark and probably what they want, but they're trying to portray them as going downhill so they can kill them off, and then their doubles can go live with
I
Jeffrey
just-
Epstein somewhere. on
What
the
I
line.
what I look at when I look at someone like McConnell here,
Yeah.
it just makes you wonder why isn't anyone in
What-
his family saying, "Hey, Dad,
It's
Come on,
elder
Dad.
abuse, right? Yeah. The Joe Biden thing, it felt like elder abuse.
I mean, it's
don't know.
it's pretty sad. It's honestly, this is where I start to feel bad for these scumbags.
Me
'cause
too.
They get to a point where vengeance wouldn't even be worthwhile.
And so with Biden, that's how I felt kind of towards the end. Some
Yeah.
people think that Biden was faking or that was one of
It's
his,
very possible,
his
but
doubles.
you know, I don't know. That's giving him a lot of credit to be a good
He
actor.
did sign with the CAA. He's going to start. Maybe he becomes an action movie star.
Oh, he's going to start a podcast?
That would be so funny, dude.
What the hell am I talking about with Joe Biden?
Dude, now that's a good sketch idea. It
Hey,
is-
what the hell am I talking about?
Yeah, the new CAA sponsored Joe Biden podcast. So the CAA,
Hey,
along
come on,
with-
guys. I got a new podcast.
hit that like and subscribe
Hit
button.
that like and subscribe.
He starts the Patreon.
Yeah!
You know, that's funny, dude. We should do that.
Yeah, we should.
He could interview his double.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like
That
being my
that one's
double?
getting to me today. Haven't
you
done
think-
Biden in a while. The throat's out of shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That came off a little. If you just joined in and you heard, I haven't done Biden in a while. My throat's out of shape. You might get the wrong impression.
No. That's exactly right. I literally haven't done Biden in a while. So my throat's out of shape.
You got to train the muscles. You got to keep them sharp.
Ah!
Yeah, it's funny. But the CAA, it's not just an acting talent agency. What they have a whole, segment of their organization, which the celebrities they represent, they assign them to political events. And like Gabrielle Union is one of the people who are featured on their page, and Dwayne Wade, because of the trans activism that they do because of one of, is it his children, I think? And that's why you see the guy who plays the Hulk. That's why you see all these celebrities showing up at these rallies and protests, because they, just like you book an actor through an agency, you book an activist actor through the CAA, and that is what I suspect that they
An
will use Joe Biden
activist.
for. An activist like Reginald.
That's what Reginald, he's an activist.
It's a fan favorite. Senator says, "Hey, did you get pudding today too, Mitch?" I would actually like to see Mitch
Hey, Mitch,
making a speech or voting in the Senate while eating some pudding, and then
Yeah.
he goes and he does Joe Biden's podcast, and they talk about their favorite flavors of pudding.
What if they all ate lunch in the Senate while they were doing stuff? They had to bring their lunches.
Yeah,
A little more, yeah.
slop
more-
all over their face.
Slop all over, eating a sandwich with mayo all over it,
Yeah,
just getting all over their face.
yeah, just disgusting. And Anna Paula Luna just in a bathing suit,
Yeah.
not letting anybody sit her. She's the cheerleader of. She's rivals with AOC. Probably that'd be another good movie. Is Anna Paula Luna and AOC are rivals who eventually fall in love and have pillow fights in bathing suits. Could be a popular movie.
It would be.
I'm not a producer. I'm just throwing ideas out there for anybody who wants to take them and run with them.
Yeah, if there are any producers out there, any Hollywood producers listen to this show.
Yeah, just would love to see that.
Yeah.
So
It's like a
very
new black
obvious that
swan.
Mitch. It's the coverage of this is just
Yeah.
so funny that you can't even. You have to think that your audience, from the mainstream media's point of view, is just completely owned, completely captured, does not 1 ounce of thinking, cares not at all about the hypocrisy of how they used to focus on his freezing, and they still will question Trump's fitness. He does the press, whatever. But Mitch, because he's on their side, doesn't care. And that to me is kind of like an insult on the intelligence of the American people. But maybe they're right. Maybe they're like, we got these dumb asses. It's like the Nigerian prince scheme, where you riddle the email con with errors, misspellings, and you sound stupid because you're targeting the lowest common denominator, who are just so eager to believe that it's true that you don't actually want the thinking people to you're trying to weed out the thinking people, because the ones that are so unthinking as to take this seriously, like look at this here. This is MSNBC. McConnell waving the flag of traditional Republicanism by breaking with GOP votes. That's the title of this video. Let me take you back real quick here. Again, this is Mitch McConnell. He's not waving any flag.
Whee!
He's saying, I peed myself, and he's waving at a hospice nurse.
Yeah, he looks so happy.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably got it. I don't know. I don't know what he's happy about. He's definitely not happy because of the vote he did. That's how this was portrayed. Look at him smiling after his vote because he stood up to Trump. That's not going through his mind right now. You have to be so stupid to believe that Mitch McConnell in his head is like, I just stood up to Trump. Look at me. No, he's probably thinking about breast or molestation. I don't know.
Boobies.
Right. Or pudding.
Pudding on boobies.
As you said. Yeah, he's going to be served pudding by his favorite booby nurse. And here is what they said. After seeing that, look how seriously they talk about this old man
waving the flag
is making decisions on behalf of his constituents.
Meantime, today, once again, Mitch McConnell is standing alone among senators.
He's not standing at all. Okay.
Yeah, standing alone. Standing alone.
Republicans.
No, you mean standing with Democrats.
Look, there he is putting his thumbs up.
Not standing alone.
That guy just whispered in his ear, point your thumbs towards the ceiling and the pudding will arrive.
Voted no on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination to head HHS, his third time.
I love the way they do this. They overlay this image with his thumbs up as though that's a response to being questioned about the RFK thing. You can compel anything in a photography session and get what you want, you know. Yeah. There's no telling what he's actually responding to.
Voting down a Trump nominee after opposing Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard.
Look at that. Look at his face there. That's the face of the only Republican strong enough to stand up to Trump.
Yeah.
Gabbard. It is a stark contrast from the powerful Republican leader who.
I don't mean to get in the weeds on this, but it is really funny to me how they can just gloss over that this is a old man who is not well. And they're acting, they're not pointing out the obvious. It's just so funny.
Once backed Trump.
He's standing alone once again.
I would like to see them go further with it. Maybe have a graphic where it's like those remember those T-shirts where it'd be like Florida State versus Miami and the helmets would be facing each other like they're going to fight. You make an image like that, like McConnell's going to fight Trump, and you cut to him in a wheelchair slobbering on himself.
But who the Washington Post now describes as the unlikely and sometimes lonely face of Republican resistance.
That's the face. Look at this image.
This is the face of public resistance.
Yes,
that's the face of a man trying not to poop his pants.
Yes, 100%.
That is not the face of resistance.
It's crazy, dude.
This is so sad. Why are they doing this to him? Leave this man alone. Stop giving him any attention.
That's another question. His staffers allow it because it's not him making the decisions. Whoever is in control of it. Maybe it's like we'll push him down another flight of stairs if you don't just let us do what we want with him. I mean, that is sad and funny at the same time. But they flashed it up there on the screen. Most people aren't going to pause it right here. Probably very few people outside of us and people watching the show are actually going to really recognize this because it's going to go by so fast. But like, I'm just imagining our friends that are progressives watching this going, yeah, well, I don't like him, but yeah, he's the new John Bolton, who I now also like, apparently. And he is the face of it. Not realizing what you pointed out, that he's trying not to use the bathroom right now. This is so crazy.
Either that, he's either trying not to use the bathroom, or he's just about to lick his lips because he's staring at a delicious child.
That too, exactly. He's about to go whisper something very, very disgusting into some person's ear. Very inappropriate. Or maybe AOC is leaning over in front of him right now. We have no idea.
Buck is back with me.
Yeah. So who would you bring on after that introduction to talk about this? You would bring on Mitch McConnell, but they're bringing on Buck instead.
Mitch McConnell just put out a statement. It reminds folks that he did survive polio. And he wrote this, Brendan. I've watched vaccines save millions of lives from devastating diseases across America and around the world. I will not condone the relitigation of proven cures.
So that's the statement that this man put out.
Exactly. Not only that, but this is what's frustrating. How many times do we have to say it's not the vaccines themselves, it's who is making them and how they're manufactured? You fucking idiots.
They don't care.
How many times do we have to say it?
It's like modern society and our always connected brains has enabled them to just blatantly lie despite the fact that discovering the truth is easy.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the lowest common denominator, right? Like they're going after the people who aren't going to do any research. They don't want those people. They'd like to expand the group of people who look at Mitch McConnell and go, that Mitch McConnell who's laying down on his side at the bottom of the Senate chamber stairs. His ears are bleeding. He's frozen. That is the only man who can stand up. That's the face of resistance. And then you have all these maybe leftist protesters. They go lay down on their side as well because it's like Mitch must be like they think it's a protest instead of just an old man who should be in the hospital, but because he's compromised from his younger years, is forced to be another Joe Biden, another Dianne Feinstein, another Nancy Pelosi who broke her hip. It's crazy. It's funny but crazy, and I don't mean that in elder abuse is awful, like you said. Some people would say, remember the shit that they used to do.
Yes. Well, yes, but at a certain point, I'm not saying you have to not hate the person, but at a certain point, vengeance is just futile because this person it's not the same person.
No,
it's just not the same person. So
I can't. So sometimes I'll imagine how I would be if I was on one of these panels on CNN or MSNBC, and they did this introduction. The face of Republican resistance, Mitch McConnell said, explain and quoting what he said and all that. Just looking around, going, are we not going to point out that he definitely didn't say that?
Yeah.
Are we not going to point? How can you guys not point any of this? This is I just don't understand. I do understand because they're getting paid to do it, but in a normal, logical, conversational situation, the conversation we're having right now, I think would happen. But they ignore all of the obvious, all of the common sense, and they do it in a way with a straight face, which is impressive, by the way.
Yeah.
I would love to be in a situation like that one day, but that's exactly why they won't bring people like you and me and people listen to the show onto their networks.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Maybe Reginald, though, can infiltrate.
I bet you Reginald could.
I think Reginald could get a pretty good following. I think he could be a cult leader, to be honest with you.
I know. I can't believe, I don't put a whole lot of energy into him these days, but when I could not believe the arguments people would get in. I mean, a lot of times it would be people that we agree with.
Yeah.
That I would end up trolling.
I know, it's funny. Because you did it so well.
Because it's like, let's fuck it. Let's just see how far we can go.
Yeah, I told some of them, I was like, hey, that's Ian. Like, oh. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so what did they say? There's a couple of quotes here that I thought were funny, too. McConnell cited his experience as a survivor of childhood polio in a statement. This is what they're talking about. This administration, led by the same president who delivered a medical miracle with Project Warp Speed. So that he definitely didn't say that. This is a public relations written thing.
Yeah.
He deserves a leader deserves a leader who is willing to acknowledge without qualification the efficacy of life-saving vaccines and who can demonstrate an understanding of basic elements of the U.S. healthcare system, McConnell said.
Oh,
No,
Mitch definitely said that. He said
he did.
all of that.
So
he
no,
totally
it's
said
so
all that.
crazy. There's no way he said any
He
of
said
that.
all that. In fact, he probably said, get a pencil and write this down. I'm going to dictate to you.
The dude who freezes half in middle of a sentence you can't understand. He said that very, very Politico.
He probably was
Washington
dictating
Post
them. He
written.
froze, and then they just filled in the blanks with all this other stuff. They're like, well, this is probably what he meant.
They
This is what
tracked
he was
his
going
brain
to
waves.
say.
They put a thing on his head and they
Yeah.
said, "We know what he's saying."
This is what he's going to say.
Willful ignorance, says Dan Superstar. Stoner says, "What about those people that got effed up on the early polio vaccine?" You're absolutely right. They don't talk about that a lot. They did a lot of the same strategies with polio vaccine that they did with COVID, in that they kind of ambushed the public with it, with fear, and they worried about the side effects later. And then in the aftermath, when the studies were done, they actually found that they were lying about a lot of the things, that the side effects were far more than they claimed originally, and that the numbers were overinflated of polio cases in order to get the public to just accept it without question. It's a similar model that they do. They just modernize it with their freaking modern media, and of course, Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, we are really, as a society, I have to say, maybe put your ideological stance and your hate for the opposition aside and recognize how dumb you look if you aren't questioning this position about Mitch McConnell. What do you think our friends would say if we were having this conversation with them, our progressive friends right now?
Well, I think our progressive friends make all kinds of accommodations for things they agree with.
Right.
So, for instance, they would probably say, well, Brad, this is business as usual. It's standard operating procedure for staff members to write statements on behalf of politicians, and the politician just signs and agrees with it. They're very busy people. They don't sit there and write their own statements, Brad. We know this to be true.
He's very busy.
That's that. But, of course, then they'll invert that when it's someone they don't like. Well, he didn't even write that.
You're right. Well, yeah, exactly. Like Trump's book. They might also say, well, Trump's almost the same age as Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Right? It'd say something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So on a similar note, I've been trying to follow some of these big influencers in the podcast and social media sphere that they're now shifting some because they're going to be shifting to the podcast model. We have Jim Acosta starting his podcast and all that, and World Economic Forum talked about this. And there's this Gen X influencer.
Cooper.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper. He might be there.
Inside Anderson
Cooper with Jim Acosta and Don Lemon. Yeah, that'd be great. So he's a influencer in Gen X. He's got a couple 100,000 followers. He said today that where is his quote? Oh, he said RFK Jr. was confirmed as the HHS secretary by a 52 to 48 vote. And then he said this. He said, like Putin, measles, and polio, RFK Jr. must also be loving life right now, which I think he worded that right. I think he's trying to say that RFK Jr. loves all those things, measles and polio, even though it sounded like he's saying measles and polio love life right now. But that's the position. And then we have this other guy, Andrew Weiss, is a progressive influencer on X with a big following. He said, RFK Jr. and the Kremlin are completing each other's sentences. I love this. The position by people in the media and the people who eat up everything they say today is Mitch McConnell, who doesn't know where he is and can't walk, is the only person who can stand in resistance to Trump, even though we used to hate him. And also, if you don't like what RFK Jr. said about we need to avoid World War III, you are spreading Putin propaganda. Because
Brett, how does a side that claims to be defenders of the truth get away with using hyperbole to describe everything?
Everything.
Everything.
Never any truth. No, we don't. We can't
Never any
use the
fucking
truth. We have to use hyperbole because the truth is so important.
It's why I just laugh at all of our liberal friends. Because they do the same thing when they're arguing.
They
with
really
me.
do, man.
They start using all kinds of hyperbole, and I'm like, no, you don't really believe Trump is. You don't really believe he's a dictator, do you?
There's actually some movements going on right now that's very, very dangerous. Like, that's the type of response I get from them. I don't even think they know. I think they're trained by this stuff.
Yeah, or the the stupidity of the reaction to Musk doing the Sieg Heil. Like all of a sudden, are you serious, guys? Like that's real. Like all of a sudden, he just let it slip out.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
they might even say, well,
Or-
it's so obvious they're throwing it in our face. And it's just kind of understood to them. It's
Or the-
it's
or
an
the- or-
accident. If it's somebody on their side, it's,
Right.
it is well-meaning accident. But anybody on the other side, it's always malice intent.
The Christian pastor, leading up to the election, we're supposed to be really, really afraid that Trump is going to usher in Project 2025 in a Christian national state. And
Right.
yet, at the White House prayer service, he's not Christian enough.
Hey, he didn't put his hand on the Bible.
He's not
You know,
Christian
I
enough. He didn't put his hand on the
Right.
Bible. He's not, he can't. And he scoffed this woman's Christian message.
I'm going to scoff your message, but I'll kill my Jewish grandchildren first.
I just don't.
No, it's not. It's so like the modern media thing, the reliance on this. They can be comforted. The media can, the propagandists, knowing that there's just so much media that they pump so many different subjects into our heads at once that something that somebody might feel, be made to feel super passionate and care about one day, that they can actually just pump story after story after story into their head, that they will forget about that and they can make them feel passionate about something that is completely opposite of that and would be hypocritical a week later, because Bernays called them logic-proof compartments in people's heads, that you can message them in a way that they separate these things, these compartments, and the confirmation bias, the desire to have that and avoid cognitive dissonance, well, make those ideas never run afoul in their heads, and they won't see their own hypocrisy. And he was talking about this 110 years ago, and he was orgasming over the rise of cinema. I think he said something in his book like, with cinema's rise, the ability to spread messages and propaganda, you can whisper in somebody's ear, and it could be two people. You whisper in one person's ear in a room, and that's a message that will almost instantaneously be projected out to the world. Imagine what he would think about right now.
Oh my God.
Romulik says, my Democrat aunt and uncle are melting down over the RFK confirmation. Why are they melting down? Is it similar to what they're saying on MSNBC and stuff? So look at this tweet, Ian. The guy said they're finishing each other's sentences, hashtag coincidence, and then he shared an RFK Jr. tweet in which RFK Jr. said, if you want to avoid nuclear war, I strongly urge you to vote for Trump. In fact, I would go as far as to say that a vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for nuclear war.
I know what he's insinuating. They're twisting this.
Yeah.
They're insinuating that RFK is threatening us on behalf of Putin.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. He's saying
Yeah.
that what RFK is saying to you is that if you don't vote for Trump, we're going to nuke you.
So that's interesting. That's why that progressive
They're
Reginald
fucking
inside of
crazy,
you,
dude.
Ian.
Yes, I know. I'm telling you, that's one of the reasons why I have to step away from that. Like you start. It's easy to get in this mindset, and you can predict where they're going to go. Because you just have to. If you've ever had a psychotic romantic partner, that's all you have to do.
Most men have. Most women probably have.
No,
too.
I didn't want to limit it to just most men.
Everybody. All the
Everybody's
theys,
had
women
one.
and men. Yeah.
I didn't want to. I'm trying to be fair here,
Right.
But if you've ever had a psychotic partner, this is how they think.
You're right. They twist things in ways that you
twist
might
it.
not even be able to anticipate. It's really exercise of creativity.
To the point where they twist it so far that you are now having to either defend against a straw man or just walk away, and they put you in a no-win situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
You know,
I wouldn't have even thought about this message. It looks like he's saying if you want to avoid nuclear war, and that the response is,
because that's
wow,
the hashtag coincidence. That's what
avoiding
the hashtag-
nuclear war is a Kremlin thing, but
that's
like,
what the
you're-
hashtag coincidence is all about.
Yeah, dude, it is like that.
Yeah,
And the emotion too in a relationship is
because, dude,
Yeah.
the progressives think that they can see all the puzzle pieces that you and I can't see.
right. The conspiracies.
Yes, they think they can see the conspiracies. Yeah. You know, this is obviously a conspiracy here that they can see.
Don't you see that? Don't you see this as a threat?
Don't you see it? Don't you see it's a threat? Yeah, like one of my progressive friends says RFK just wants power. And I said, well, if he just wants power, the HHS secretary isn't really the place to go. I wouldn't say that's a powerful position,
And
would
they
you?
scream anti-vaxxer. Probably
Yeah,
like Romulus's aunt thinks he's creepy. Uncle thinks he's an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think of the HHS secretary as a powerful position. Out of the whole cabinet, right? Like him and the HUD secretary, like he's just above the HUD secretary.
Right. He doesn't have the
What
power
do they
now to
fucking
go
do?
take away all your medicine
Yeah.
and prevent you from getting a vaccine if you want it. That it is so that programming that your aunt Romulus or uncle and many others across the country have, it's really effective. That you can see someone who questions vaccines who were rolled out quickly without clinical trials, that were not shared widely. You could find them, but they weren't shared widely. And the actual weird thing about how they prevented certain groups of people from being in the trials, and they gave those very people the vaccine first when they rolled them out, like stuff like that. Asking those questions makes you not somebody doing due diligence. It makes you an anti-vaxxer, and that programming sticking to people.
Dude, yeah, I know. I have the same friend of mine who went into those vaccine trials is also on Ozempic.
God, dude, I
I'm
hope it doesn't go
serious.
blind, man.
Yeah, man. I'm like, really? Why don't you just like, I don't know, try fasting?
That stuff with Ozempic is dangerous because it's so desirable. It gets hard for some people to lose weight. People have different balances in their bodies. That I like. There's people who have exercised a lot. They try to control it, and it's just harder for them.
Well,
to
yes,
lose weight.
look, losing weight is math. It's just math. I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. It's psychology and math.
Right.
It takes a lot of psychological effort, right?
And broccoli.
And broccoli, but it's math. It's you got to burn more calories than you eat. It's just math.
No, yeah, no, I agree with that. But these people who've had this struggle with being able to do that throughout their life, being offered this magic pill.
True. Oh no, 100%.
Or whatever
I'm
it
not
is.
saying. Let me put it this way: easy shouldn't be the word. Simple.
Yeah. There's a formula, but this
Yeah.
is this is the convenient pathway
Yes.
that comes with consequences or side effects that we are not familiar the full
Yeah.
extent of them yet. And I always said during the COVID thing that if they wanted to get the vaccine hesitant people, or if they wanted to get MAGA people who were questioning, or people like me to maybe go, well, maybe I'll think about it, they need to go on to 4chan. They need to infiltrate it, and they need to have somebody say, I took the vaccine. And it needs to be somebody they believe is one of them. And I can fly. They need to start saying, they need to start leaking these
Yeah.
things about superhuman abilities. Maybe not fly, but just subtle strengths
Yeah.
that it caused because of the future transhumanist technology that they talk about this stuff being. And then people go, well, if I can get superpowers.
What I've said this. What if they just got you high? What if the vaccines just got you a nice buzz?
It gets you high, and it makes you think even the fattest Lizzo-like chick
Yeah.
is sexy.
So man, I got the polio vaccine. I got so much shit done today.
Yeah.
Organized my iTunes library. Fucking
Yeah.
did cut the yard.
Yeah, they cut me off after 4. Like, you can only get 4 polio vaccines a month.
Yeah, look.
Yeah. So this is, that's interesting about them seeing that as a threat. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, they're crazy.
And here's Trump talking about, this is MSNBC presenting Trump talking about Putin. And it seems that even considering peace, not wanting to just destroy Russia and the smoke of a nuclear bomb or whatever, that is the only acceptable position, because wanting peace apparently is dangerous to democracy. And the framing of this, the way they're able to keep that straight face we talked about, it's very, very impressive here, because I think you separate the politics and the programming and you hear what Trump says here. To me, I'm like, oh, that seems like a rational thing, but not to MSNBC.
Classic
A
Kremlin.
country.
Yeah.
Okay, this is classic Kremlin thinking.
Classic,
So
yeah.
they know about classic Kremlin thinking. Just classic.
You're right. That's the headline of
Textbook
this video.
standard classic Kremlin thinking, guys. Come on, this is classic. You'll know it when you hear it, guys.
Dude,
This is
it'd be
classic.
funny to do an analysis of all the times like words like classic or authoritarianism
Textbook,
101
playbook.
textbook is used in MSNBC's headlines.
In Russia's position. A country in Russia's position could allow them, just in their position, could allow them to join NATO. I don't see that happening.
When Putin says that he really wants peace, do you believe him?
Yeah, I do. I believe he wants peace. I'd love to have him back. I think it was a mistake to throw him out. Look, it's not a question of liking Russia or not liking Russia. It was the G8. And you know, I said, what are you doing? You guys, all you talk about is Russia, and they should be sitting at the table. I think Putin would love to be back.
Stunning.
Stunning.
Is that stunning?
Stunning.
Is that stunning?
Stunning.
This is stunning. Is
Yeah.
what's stunning.
She's such a good little news performer.
What a bitch.
Stunning.
This is why we have this culture of people who are triggered by things that are normal, because stunning as a
Trump
reaction to something
Says
like that.
Putin should have a seat at the table. Yeah, honestly,
Stunning.
I think any country with nukes, we should probably keep conversations going with. That would probably just be a good idea.
Yeah. This is the same network who just put that picture of Mitch McConnell up on screen where he looks like he's using his bathroom or about to smell a
I
child,
mean, our hero, Mitch
Yeah.
McConnell.
and called him the resistance to Trump. The same network. It's
Oh my god,
crazy. As Stoner says that, talking about the vaccine,
classic.
said took the vaccine, maybe not fly, but he was able to finally find the clitoris after
Good
taking
for
the
you.
vaccine. Very
Good for
good.
you.
Yeah, no, that's one of the benefits of the vaccine. But he said it was dark and he wasn't wearing his glasses, so might have been a micro penis. That's always going to be. That'll come out in later studies, years later, I think.
Stunning.
Oh, double stunning! It's double stunning.
Stunning.
Comments coming from an American president.
I want to see that again, man.
Just stunning comments coming from an American president. Just
I think Putin would love to be back.
Stunning. Stunning. Comments coming from an American president
Yep,
sitting in
stunning.
the Oval Office today.
Terrifying.
President of the United States making remarks that sound much more like they were written by folks sitting in the Kremlin
Oh my God.
than the man or woman elected to sit behind the resolute desk.
Crazy.
Donald Trump's comments come after he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin, where the two leaders discussed starting negotiations to end the war in Ukraine immediately. The call was a shocking development that left our European friends and allies scrambling. A European official telling
Oh my God,
NBC News.
They all picked up their phone.
Oh my God, guys! They're scrambling. Papers flying all over the office. Phones ringing. People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get me. The British, the Canada. They're all in the group call,
Yeah,
and they're saying
it's like the beginning of a Disney movie, and they're about to, break in a song or something.
an American president said
An American president.
Putin should be at the G8 with other world leaders.
This is classic Kremlin. This is classic Kremlin.
What-
This is.
Yeah, they're singing, and
Yeah.
one of them literally
Yeah.
blows the back of his head off at it because he's so stunned about it.
Yeah.
That NATO allies were, quote, blindsided. Germany's defense minister said the call was regrettable. France's defense minister said this, quote, this was a real moment of political truth, and warned that, quote, peace through weakness could have dramatic security implications in the region.
So, what would have been the appropriate thing for Trump? Would Trump say, "I'm going to come out and say I talked to Putin. I assured him that I'm going to murder him"?
The
We're gonna
appropriate
try-"
thing would be send $500 billion worth of weapons to Ukraine.
to Ukraine.
Right.
Yep.
And some of them, some of those attack robot
Tackums.
dogs.
Give him some Tackums
Yeah.
and some Abrams tanks.
Yeah, give some Abrams tanks, and just keep it going, man. Just keep this war going. We got
Demolish it more.
we got Ukraine.
John Bolton agrees with this position, by the way. He denounced Trump's and Vladimir. The headline is John Bolton denounces Trump Vladimir Putin peace talks, and it's like, that's so like. Finally, John Bolton has seen the light to be a good guy, and progressives will unite with him in opposition to peace talks. What used to be anti-war. And actually, I have something about Zelensky. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's watch a few more seconds of this.
But for Russia, the call was cause for celebration. It was a recognition by the United States of America that it hadn't enjoyed for years now. Following the call, Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, said this, quote, "They're drinking vodka straight out of the bottle in the Kremlin tonight," end quote.
That's kind of a shot, right? I mean, that would be like, come on, you're going to go after the
out
vodka?
of the bottle?
Yeah.
Guys, no glasses. Right out of the bottle.
They only drink vodka. Very stereotypical attack by Bolton there. Bolton, you know what they should do? They should put a picture of Bolton on screen.
Maybe they're drinking Sambuca. Is
Right. It could be drinking
Russian?
tequila. It could be drinking beer. It could be drinking beer made in America, for all we know.
Mineral water.
That rock star,
Maybe it's
like,
just
yeah,
mineral
just
water.
very healthy. They could be going, make Russia healthy again, and it could be very evil. They didn't play much of anything Trump said. Like, you notice that? They played a very little bit. Like, all he said was, like, they should have a seat at the table, and they're just implying all of these things that it means.
Yeah. I mean, stunning.
Very stunning.
He literally said nothing concrete, and
At all.
yet they are stunned by it.
He's a world leader who we...
What it
And
sounded
even
to
though
me,
Trump called
yeah, it just sounded to me like a guy who said, "Yeah, we should talk. We should talk."
Right. And they're about to swing this into Zelensky. I actually don't know if they're going to bring this up, but another headline today along with this, which kind of goes with this backwards
Look at
logic
the picture
theme.
they chose for him.
Yeah. He looks very he looks like he's looking at Trump say those things, and he's stunned.
Why
is what he
did
looks
you
like.
talk to Putin?
It is so stunning to me that you would do that instead of giving me an Abrams tank. But this headline today from Reuters: Trump pushes Zelensky towards risky Ukraine election, and the whole article is about. It's clear that Trump doesn't want to keep funding Putin or Zelensky, and that he's doing the very, very dangerous and undemocratic thing of trying to get Zelensky to hold a democratic election. And that's dangerous because of the threat to Zelensky, because Zelensky declared martial law and said, the people like me, they won't be elected. It's wild.
Brad, I think we saw what elections can do to a democracy in 2024. Okay?
Absolutely. It's very dangerous. And the media is promoting, is making it seem like it's carrying water for the Kremlin to try and get the leader of a country who declared martial law in that country and suspended elections so he could remain in power to hold democratic elections.
Yeah.
That is the position of our progressive friends.
God.
I would like to ask our one friend in particular, I'd like to see him bend over backwards with the logic over this one.
Ukrainian President Zelensky after he talked to Putin. There are major concerns that Ukraine will be left out of whatever negotiations actually happen, a worry
Probably.
Trump didn't alleviate when asked about it yesterday.
Do you view Ukraine as an equal member of this peace process?
It's an interesting question. I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace. I said that was not a good war to go into, and I think they have to make peace. That's what I think.
It wasn't a yes.
Oh my God. Dude, I bet her husband, she's probably the most creative. He can think of all the possible ways something he might say to her when they're in a fight can be
Yeah.
misinterpreted, and he thinks
She
he's
just
got
goes,
his,
she just goes, stunning.
stunning
Stunning.
that you would say that. Yeah, there's nothing. It's very creative.
Joining us now, New York Times diplomatic correspondent Michael Crowley. Also joining us, professor of history
I love how this
Everyone's got their
visual is
spy
here.
glasses on so they can record what's going on. What the fuck, man?
And they have the side by side of these guests, and they didn't line up their height unless this woman is like 7 feet tall and this guy is just a very tiny man. That's how it looks with the way this is set up. Let me
At
get
New
my
York
books in the
University,
image.
Ruth Ben-Ghiat is here. Michael Crowley, I've heard the word Neville Chamberlain like appeasement. Tell me what you're picking up from national security sources.
Stunning.
Yeah, well, Nicole, that is one of the big reactions that
I wish he had a Munchkin voice.
we're hearing, which is, head scratching over President Trump's approach to this negotiation, which
They have not established anything that he said. It's just a snippet, a couple of seconds that this entire premise, this foundation of all of these conversations and concerns. It's futures that they're telling people are going to be real that are never going to happen.
They are saying that talking about peace is the wrong thing to do.
That's exactly what they're
War
doing.
must continue because Putin is Hitler and Trump is Hitler and Musk is Hitler.
And the USAID has been making the world safe for democracy, which they literally said on CNN earlier today.
Yeah. Yeah, you should check out today's Rogan episode with Mike Benz. He's a former State Department official.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Ben's. Yeah.
I don't know how much you like him or not, but he
he has good information, but
he goes into a lot of great detail.
Yeah.
About how they used USAID to do intelligence operations.
Oh, totally. I've been that's just like the USAID is one of the subjects that I've focused on for many years, and which I'm glad it gets exposed. But I do sometimes go, well, I wish Mike Benz would have talked about it when it was safe, when it wasn't so safe to talk about it years ago.
Sure, I get that. For sure.
But I am glad that the message is getting out. It's it's really a lesson in how people can be manipulated. All of this stuff is manipulated into thinking that something is humanitarian and wholesome and good, when the reality that seems very obvious to us, especially in the case of this Russia stuff, is that they're just convincing people that you have to destroy, you have to be anti-democratic to fight for democracy, and that's humanitarian. You have to do regime change, and you have to fund American taxpayer dollars into things Americans, most of them, would never fund in countries around the world, and you have to topple democratically elected leaders in order to uphold and protect democracy in these countries. It's backwards, but it's that manipulation of language, the programming that is so effective in achieving this and getting people on board with it. Like we talked about our friend and his definition of nationalism. I talked about this with Charlie briefly on the show last night, but I told you how our two friends, one is right-leaning, the other is a progressive, were talking about what the meaning of nationalism is. And our progressive friend, his definition of nationalism, after declaring it to be like the biggest threat to the country, was it's believing that you are naturally, and he put that in caps, better than all of the other countries and other people of the world, which is absolutely not what the definition of nationalism is.
Correct.
And no one who calls himself a nationalist has ever thought the definition that our friend interprets them at. So he's judging them based on this convoluted definition that's not even close to real.
They think nationalism is sort of a subgenre of fascism.
You're talking about left-leaning.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they believe they're almost not quite synonyms, but fascism is an umbrella under which something like nationalism lives. Like it's a step towards it.
Yeah.
Right? We start with nationalism, and pretty soon
you're against
we're
nuclear war.
It's just
like
classic Nazi playbook.
101.
Classic Nazi thinking.
Yeah. And the reality is that they did these surveys on people who they asked them, "Are you nationalist or whatever?" And they found out that a lot of people they confused patriotism for nationalism.
Correct.
And I think, if you're being honest, the nationalism that I've seen, and I think you would get an answer that would support this, is just America first. Stop sending our taxpayer dollars elsewhere. Stuff like that. But they have to manipulate the language in these media spheres and propaganda for people like our friend to view this through a completely different, not even close definition of what it is, without even considering all those other possibilities.
Right. Well, they're saying this is where their flaw is, because they take issue with the fact that they say, well, nationalists say that their country should be put first above all the other countries. Well, it was kind of like, and I agree with this statement, actually. I think every country should be putting their interest first.
Yeah.
Right?
Make India first again, or great again, right?
It was like what J.D. Vance was talking about, the order of love, right? And he got a lot of shit about this.
Yep.
Right?
Your family.
Right. But it is. In the order of love, you should love your country before other countries. This is just normal.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess
Sorry,
you think,
dude.
Yeah. Aryan nation, much. All right, let's see a little bit more of this guy.
Is to say that from the outset, he is making key concessions to the Russians over the fate of Ukraine. And one of them is to say that the U.S. is dropping its support for Ukraine's eventual membership in NATO, which is a longstanding U.S. position. You also
No,
That was never. That was always
not
going
a
to be put
long-standing,
off.
not a long-standing
Right.
U.S. position.
This is a lie.
also heard Secretary of Defense Hegseth say that it was unrealistic to expect that Ukraine would return to its
And it is. It's
pre-20.
stupid.
This is the same position that the Council on Foreign Relations, the Brookings Institute, the Chatham House, the one thing they would all agree on when it came to Ukraine is that,
Yep.
while they talk about membership to NATO, it's not going to happen
It's not going to happen. And
anytime
it's terrible.
soon at all.
Terrible idea. You can't do that. Sorry.
Right? It's the one thing that would trigger.
A nuclear war. You can't. Sorry. You know, well, you guys are fucking crazy. You fucking little dorks.
They act like just now Trump saying the two words they played him saying is what's
14 borders, which not only includes land that was taken by Russia in the invasion that occurred in February of 2020.
I feel like this guy's reading a teleprompter, honestly.
Nukes are gay and retarded.
Yeah. Some people, there's the position that nukes aren't real, that the nuclear blast explosions were set up.
Yeah.
And, the
Fake
more.
nukes?
Yeah. Well, fakes, just cinema, which everything has become cinema.
Yeah.
And what is this one? No, I'm not doing that. Rachel Maddow, that one's too long. But, yeah, pushes towards Zelensky. Okay. Let's look at Trump here talking about Mitch McConnell, because he was asked about, your fiercest arch rival, Mr. President. It's Tyson versus Holyfield.
Wait, who's his fiercest arch rival?
Mitch McConnell.
That is not his fiercest arch rival. Are you kidding me?
Well, today it is. He's leading the Trump resistance, dude. You saw that face of I need pudding.
You're right. You're right.
And here he is.
RFK Jr. as the next health secretary, citing
I'm loving I
conspiracy
don't give a
theories.
fuck, Trump.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel sorry for Mitch. And I was one of the people that he wanted to go to the end and he wanted to stay leader. He's not equipped mentally. He wasn't equipped 10 years ago mentally, in my opinion.
That's correct. Well, I don't know about 10 years ago, but this is correct right now.
He'd let the Republican Party go to hell. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now. Mitch McConnell never really had it. He had an ability to raise money because of his position as leader, which anybody could do. You could do it even. And that's saying a lot. But the fact is that he raised money and he gave a lot of money to senators. And so he had a little loyalty based on the fact that as leader, you could raise a lot of money. Senators would call me and they say, he wants to give me 25 million. Can I take it? I'd say, take the money. Take the money. But he engendered a certain amount of, I don't even call it loyalty. He, was able to get votes. But I was the one that got him to drop out of the leadership position, so he can't love me. But he's not voting against Bobby. He's voting against me, but that's all right. He endorsed me. You know, do you know that Mitch endorsed me, right?
Well, he did
You
have
think that was
polio,
easy?
and
What?
He had polio, obviously, and his
I don't
decided-
She says that like he had polio, like he had polio when he endorsed you.
Yeah,
This is Caitlin Collins.
I know. She's
CNN.
trash.
Well, he did
You
have
think that was
polio,
easy?
and
What?
He had polio, obviously, and his
I don't
decided
know.
that
I don't know anything about he had polio. He had polio.
So that became a headline saying Trump questions a known fact about Mitch McConnell's history,
Yeah.
polio, and his struggle.
Yeah, I love how if you just say I don't know, that's
Polio denier.
Yeah, he's a polio denier.
Just
Well,
like
I don't know.
Putin.
I don't know. I don't know what. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's true or not.
Putin's laughing, drinking vodka from the bottle.
I have no idea if he had polio. All I can tell you about him is that he shouldn't have been leader. He knows that. He voted against Bobby. He votes against almost everything now. He's a very bitter guy, and we have a very strong party. And he's almost not even really a very powerful member. I'd say he's not he's lost his power. And
He's not
affected his
voting
vote.
at all. He should
And,
just
you
say
know,
he's
it's one
not
of those
voting at
things.
all.
But in the meantime, Bobby did great, got more votes than anybody thought.
All right, so I love. So we heard how he said the polio thing, right? Now look at this. Look at this search of Trump polio. Washington Post: Trump insults McConnell over RFK vote. Casts doubts on polio diagnosis.
Trump seems to question.
It seems to question. Yeah,
Seems to question. Casts doubt or trashes. Oh, questions. There we go.
that's not- you're
Seems
right,
to
dude.
question.
all they need is one little kernel, and they can
Yeah.
blow it up into anything.
Seems to question.
That's so
Cast
funny.
doubts. I love that one too.
And they pair it with the RFK thing, the anti-vaxxer thing, polio. They know these associations.
It's literally like you take any one of these, highlight it, throw it into ChatGPT, and say, "Give me 25 versions of this."
And there's all of your headlines.
And there's
show
all your
up at the
fucking
top of the
headlines,
search. Yeah. Okay, we'll do a couple quick things here, then we'll get out of here. I haven't watched this video. I thought that I watched the first part of it. I thought it was funny. It says Musk's son, his viral video. Elon Musk's son apparently keeps like telling Trump to be quiet and stuff.
This is a cheap fake, Brad. This is
It is to
literally a
restore-
cheap
Yeah, no, I was like, is that really what he's saying? They're
Have
putting
you
these
seen? No.
Word bubbles.
The way this is cropped, he's not talking to Trump. He's talking to someone
Somebody
across the
behind
desk.
him. Okay,
He's
that makes
talking
sense.
across the desk.
That makes sense.
This is literally a cheap fake.
That is great, dude. That's awesome. I knew there was something up
Yes,
with
it's fucking bullshit.
it. That's so funny.
Is to restore
And I
He's
love
not
how they
looking-
put this bubble.
Yeah.
democracy.
Oh, so Trump's looking to the left. It's probably Caitlin Collins.
He's
is probably what
looking
it is.
over at someone else.
He's looking over at like Adam Schiff.
This is from one year to the next.
Oh, you're right. He's definitely looking at somebody else. That's so funny, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I was on Reddit this morning, just amazed at the amount of people that were talking shit about that little adorable kid.
Yeah,
They called him a little monster.
They called him Little Putin.
Yeah,
Little Putin.
that little kid is finishing Putin sentences, dude.
Every single day. Now here's a quick story. Some Ohio lawmakers. We'll see how maybe they're bringing some comedy back to the left. They have proposed, these are Democrats, a new law that bans men from ejaculating without intent of conception, which I have to say,
These
is
are
a felony.
Democrats?
These are Democrats. It would be a felony under this. It would fine men up to $10,000 per ejaculation. Adam Schiff would be committing felonies every 15 minutes
Why?
in the Senate
what is the
bathroom.
purpose of this stupid ass?
Well, there's a
wasting
video
our
here.
Fucking time.
It says the bill was brought forward by Democrat state reps Anita something, Simona, and Tristan Reid, and men would be charged with a felony under the law if they engage in unprotected sex without the intent of impregnation. And exceptions under the law include people ejaculating in the LGBTQ community, sperm donation, and masturbation. Is there exceptions? I guess if you're LGBTQ, the lawmakers say the point of the conception begins at Erection Act, that's what's called. The Conception Begins at Erection Act is to call out the hypocrisy of bills that regulate women's bodies. Okay, men would be charged with $1,000 for the first offense, $5,000 for the second, and $10 for any offense after.
This is
Maybe it'll get
why-
passed. Maybe the
this is
joke
why-
will become real.
I know, and then men protest by jacking off
All over
the
AOC.
Capitol steps there.
Yeah, right. And slipping and sliding everywhere. Mitch McConnell's going to fall down. He'll slip on a pile of semen.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I didn't put it on the screen. Yeah, this is, I think, this is parody here. But again, maybe it'll pass and it'll backfire because these might be chronic masturbators we're looking at.
Democratic State Representatives Anita Somani, an OBGYN from Dublin, and Tristan Rader of Lakewood.
This is an OBGYN from Dublin people voted
The
for.
whole entire point of this bill is to call out the hypocrisy of particularly the state legislature
That's what he
when
said.
they bring forward bills to regulate women's bodies.
Now, there are exceptions to the proposed law, which include sperm donation, contraception, and members of the LGBTQ community.
It's like open
Men
mic night.
face a maximum $10,000 fine after the third offense if they have sex with a woman without the intention of conceiving a child.
Men have the same rights no matter where they go in the country. Women have rights based on where they live.
Oh my
It
God.
just misses the most basic biological facts and leans in towards middle school humor.
Austin Beigel with End Abortion Ohio calls the proposal disrespectful to the pro-life community and a waste of state resources.
They have to review it when they file it.
He's right.
They're going to have to stick a
He's
legal
right about
team
it.
on it, wasting time on that and delaying other bills that are trying to be reviewed as well.
ABC
That's what they get attention for, and that's what
Yeah.
everybody does now is what can I do to capture the most attention?
Six asking viewers about the proposal in an online poll. 26% said it's a good idea. 74% telling us it's a waste of time.
3% just masturbated.
It's a good idea. It's a waste of time. It's a good idea. It's a
We have
waste
had
of time.
far bigger
Fucking actors.
misuse of taxpayer money in bills that have been proposed and passed.
The final draft still being written. The proposed legislation will get a hearing
It's a bit
after it's
sticky.
submitted.
So it's going to get a hearing. This is like a Saul Alinsky type model of activism. This is the indivisible type stuff. Matt and I was talking about all the indivisible stuff and all the people fighting against
I wish we
Republicans.
could interview these two lawmakers and just constantly make
You look a little
erection
aroused.
innuendos
Yeah.
throughout the questions. Do you think this will be hard to enforce?
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of a sticky situation.
yeah, kind of a sticky situation.
I know
wish
what
we
you're
could-
thinking right now. You let those thoughts go a little further, and you're going to be committing a crime, sir.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I mean. This is what people who are elected do. They do this kind of stuff.
I need to get elected.
I know, dude. It's like you're just an actor that operates in a nonfiction context. Last one. This is some protesters yesterday got a new song, basically, new chant. Like to
Woman
keep
to
up on
man,
their
man
evolution.
to woman, woman to man.
Here we
Not
go.
that
Did you
song.
see this one?
No.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me which side are you on?
No masturbation.
Which side are you on?
Not yours.
We'll
Not
fight
yours.
Against Doge.
I love this because
Fight against what?
Doge.
Oh.
The reason that they don't let these people come up with their own signs, like when we went to the one they gave out the signs and
Yes.
they don't want any rogue slogans coming in there, because the slogans and everything has to be easy to remember and repeat. You can't come up with some convoluted, complicated song that nobody's heard before. Nobody in this audience is singing along because they don't know what's coming next.
No.
We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk.
You know, here's the thing. You know, these wonderful black people in this audience are just humoring and like, look at how they're trying to help their white dorky friends sing this song. They're just really being encouraging.
They really are.
They really are.
This is not a good singer. They need somebody else at the mic. Look at that guy in the red.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Yeah.
We
I
gotta
wonder if they
fight
have a.
Elon Musk.
I bet. I
Which
wonder if
side
they,
are
yeah,
you on?
they have like
Yeah.
a downloaded version of it they can listen to.
God.
at home when they prepare, because they probably have like some pump up music to go do protest action to build up the confidence.
Yeah.
I would like to hear that plays. I'd also like to see a demographic of what this group of people is right here. Somebody's ever like, oh, I was just taking care of my 3 children, trying to put food in their mouth, barely made rent this month, but I decided to take out 4 hours to come sing Which Side Are You On?
Well, no, they each have a civil servant in their life that they love, right? Every day, the civil servant in their neighborhood makes sure things are running smoothly. So everyone's got a civil servant that they love.
Which side? Oh, wow. We just got a link here. Interesting. Denver just sent a link. This is a song.
Oh, yeah.
They must have. So they throw in their own variation of it. But Which Side Are You On? For the 1991 book by Thomas Gilligan, Which Side Are You On? The 2018 episode of the television series Succession, Which Side Are You On? Is a song written in 1931 by activist Florence Reese, who was wife of Sam Reese, a union organizer. So it's written as a protest song for the union mine workers. And so this is what they're comparing it to. They're comparing it to a union struggle.
Sang it. So it's a real protest song. Pete Seeger sang it.
Are you're familiar with Pete Seeger?
A little bit familiar with Pete Seeger. I mean,
who is that?
He was I believe like a folk singer,
like a
folk
gay Bob
protest
singer?
Kind of like a I think my mom and dad liked Pete Seeger and Peter, Paul, and Mary. And, that kind of shit.
This song was written there was a bitter and it turned to violent struggle, and the attempted intimidation of the family of the union leader says that sheriffs broke into somebody's house and people fleeing in the night, violence happening, and they're saying this is just like that violent thing from 1931. Which side are you on?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Trump's coming for our unions. He wants us all to fail. He wants us to bow to him, but we want him in jail. Oh, which side?
Oh, they like that one. They like that one.
Which side are you on? Tell me which side.
I love the people who throw in the back. Tell me, like you can pepper anything in there.
Yeah. Tell me who I am.
Yeah.
Are you on? Which side are you on?
You gotta pick a side.
They say in the capital city there are no neutrals found.
Ejaculate.
You're either with the union or a scabby Musk bloodhound. Oh, which side are you on?
Scabby Musk bloodhound.
Yeah, that was a very well thought out insertion.
First of all, public unions are bullshit. They organize against us.
Which side are you on?
Not theirs.
Unions they're
public unions.
Yeah,
what I'm
public
talking
unions
about
are like
government unions,
co-opted.
government employee unions. Bullshit. Who pays their salary? We do. When they strike or when they negotiate, they are organized against us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're all captured. They give the front of the people struggle, but they're all captured. They put these operators in. All these people they've been organized by Rachel Maddow and Indivisible. I got all the emails, and their grandkids are like, God, grandma, granddad. Maybe they should go spend more time with their grandkids, or the grandkids could go spend more time with them if they don't want to be embarrassed by their grandparents. Because this is just people who don't have anything to do. They have nothing else to do.
True.
If you have time to do this, you aren't being oppressed. You aren't struggling to eat. You aren't struggling to pay rent. If you have time to do this shit.
Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Don't take that government buyout. Don't listen.
Don't take the buyout. Why wouldn't you take the buyout? Why wouldn't
awesome
you take
buyout.
it?
I'd take that fucking
It's a great
buyout.
buyout. You get the rest of the year off almost.
Yeah. And you get to have another job while you do it.
Yeah, you can go. You can go be an activist if you want.
Yep.
Us workers haven't got a chance unless we organize. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on?
You gotta tell me.
Which side are you
They don't have enough black people in this.
Side.
You know they rehearse this. I would like to see the behind the scenes because there's a power struggle there. Because there's a couple people saying I can sing much better than this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
She's awful. There's gonna be backstabbing, and they're gonna go afterwards, and there's gonna be criticism. You jumped in. You jumped my chorus line. Infighting. They're gonna oppress each other. Authoritarianism is gonna rise within this group of.
All these people are terrible tippers. I guarantee it. Terrible tippers.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
Terrible tippers. All of them.
I feel like there's a lot of bad breath in that room as well. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that info, Denver, by the way. This land is your land. This land is my land. This is great. That's all I got for today.
Cool.
On this episode of America Has No Talent. Is there anything you'd like to add to this episode of America Has No Talent, Ian?
No. Nope. Nothing I'd like to reveal right now. Things are pretty normal. Dad had a birthday.
Yeah.
Turned 83.
As we talked about before, he could run for the Senate.
He could run for Senate. I think we're thinking about running my dad for the Senate.
Yeah. You haven't had any conversations with Vladimir Putin?
Only advice. Only to, because he's a good friend. Vladimir's a good friend of the family.
Yeah, of course.
So
you guys sound like you must be a anti-nuclear war family.
No, we're anti-nuclear war.
So you're also anti-democracy then, I guess.
Yeah, I'm anti-democracy, anti-nuclear war.
Yeah.
The only way to save democracy is to start a nuclear war.
Right, and to make sure no democracy ever comes to Ukraine.
Just.
Yeah. All right, guys, follow Ian on is it Hello Covello?
Hello Covello or at Reginald V. Actor.
Definitely follow Reginald V. Actor to find out what's inside the minds of these people.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows it better like Reginald. And propagandafight.com is the website. You can find the link tree for all of the ways to help the show on the bio of my X account, which is Freedom X Radio. It's the best way to get in contact with me there and share the show. Leave a comment that warms our hearts, that always keeps us motivated, makes us feel good, and really is why we do this. It's why we do this.
We don't do this for the negative comments.
No, we don't do it for the negative comments at all. Even though sometimes those are funny as well.
Really
somebody
funny.
the other day they got mad at us for making fun of a pink code or something like that. What was that protest group? Is really like
Pink Pussy Hat.
You had pointed out these these guys wearing all pink, and there was a specific group. I think you knew what the
Code
group
Pink.
was. Code Pink.
Yeah. Oh, they got mad at me for making fun of Code Pink?
Well, we looked at these Code Pink people that were protesting Hegseth, and it was a very weak protest. And we joked about how it looks like this 85-year-old guy is just trying to get laid, just messing around. Never mind the fact that I actually did criticize Hegseth a lot. We got a comment saying that we are juvenile incels making fun of Code Pink and defending Hegseth.
Well,
and that happens from time to time.
That's probably true. I would think that is a compliment.
That is actually
that
is a
as
compliment. Yes, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
rubbing
guys.
your glue.
Happy birthday, Mr. Vandermeer. Who's that?
That's my dad.
Oh, sorry. Happy birthday to your dad. Thank you, Dana. Yes, happy birthday to your dad. All right, guys. We'll do it again next week. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you guys later.
Boy.